It's Gil at Close Call Sports. Rob Manfred is in Davos, Switzerland at the World Economic Forum, cozying up to international leaders for reasons. But he did do an interview with Fox Business, and he did talk about the electronic strike zone. Rather interesting. It's going to debut sooner than you think. Here's what he had to say.
Ask you about this controversy surrounding the use of robots behind the plate instead of umpires counting balls and strikes.
Well, robots may be an overstatement. The system actually is a camera-based system, it does call balls and strikes. We experimented with it in the Atlantic League, which is an independent league last year. We're going to be using it during spring training and in some of our minor league leagues this year. The way it works is the camera calls the ball or strike, communicates to an earpiece that the umpire has in his ear. And from the fans' perspective, it looks exactly like it looks today. We believe over the long haul it's going to be more accurate. It'll reduce controversy in the game and be good for the game.
So so it's as effective or more effective than a human being standing there?
We think it's more accurate than a human being standing there.
Wow, okay, because you probably can have different angles as well.
And, you know, the current strike zone is designed is actually three-dimensional, and a camera is better at calling a three-dimensional strike zone than the human eye.
Okay, so a lot to break down here about how we're getting electronic balls and strikes in spring training from the tremendous experiment that was the Atlantic League. But before I get into that, I want to play you what Manfred said. He's saying that the technology is better than humans now. I want to play you what he just said not too long ago in the complete opposite direction. Take a listen.
You come to our strike zone is not a single line on a fixed court, right? It's a plate. It's three-dimensional. The ball passes through the strike zone at different points. We do have a system that we use in broadcasts that measures balls and strikes. In all candor, that technology has a larger margin of error than we see with human umpires.
So there you have the contradiction. Also, I found it really interesting, the 2D, 3D discussion, because up until the end of 2019, and including the end of 2019, we never dealt with an electronic 3D zone. We have extensive documentation about how the zone fails in its current two-dimensional state. So if we suddenly, Manfred, have a 3D zone that no one has been informed about and that you've been hiding behind closed doors that works perfectly, then good on you. But until we get that 97.5% accuracy to eclipse that of a human umpire, I'm not buying. We'll get there, but if we're there already without any testing, then I guess more power to you. And then also, what I wanted to point out was earlier you discussed the earpiece. The fans won't notice any difference than how the game's currently being called, but as we have extensively documented, and you can see from what's playing to my right as I'm talking right now, is there's a delay between the earpiece registering or the system registering, going to the umpire's earpiece, the call being made, etc. And so I'm just waiting for the 3-2 count with the runner on first base, runners off with the pitch. Catcher throws it into center field. 2 seconds later, the earpiece says, ball. Oh, it's ball 4. I didn't need to throw it in center field, but meanwhile, the throw was so bad that the runner came around and scored the winning run, and now everyone's mad because this could have been avoided. So, not quite buying that quite yet because we have that delay, but I think that we need to take a step back and look at the greater picture of why this technology is being portrayed as so good, even though it has been proven, well, otherwise. Manfred's in Davos. Davos is home to the World Economic Forum. A lot of billionaires to hobnob. It's not a cheap event by any means. This is about money. This is about impressing people to get them to invest, to buy into this stuff. And you're not going to get people to buy in if the tech doesn't work, or if you honestly tell people that it doesn't work. So you have to say that it does, even if it doesn't, because you risk alienating your big business contracts. Unfortunately, I don't think that's going to help many umpires on the streets who aren't getting paid all that much to do baseball games, but your mileage may vary. In any case, visit us at closecallsports.com. Follow us on Twitter and Facebook at Umpire Ejections for more coverage of baseball, continued coverage of this electronic strike zone system issue, and we'll see you on the site.